How is everyone doing today? Let's talk about the pipeline hack. And we'll start with the meme of the day from Jack Posobiec, which says, "Our pipelines can be hacked, but the election was the most secure ever." Of course it was. Of course it was, because big tech and the mainstream media tells us it was the most secure ever. And of course, going back to the pipeline hack, well, Russia did it, of course, because the mainstream media and big tech tell us that. So anyway, this is from RT, and actually I'm going to play a video of Biden where he kind of contradicts himself. Big surprise. The title says, Biden says no evidence Russia responsible for pipeline cyberattack, but Russia has some responsibility. Yep. Flip-flop Biden. So a cyber attack that crippled the U.S. fuel supply was in the work of Russia, President Joe Biden said. Confusingly, Biden then said that Russia bears some responsibility for the attack. A ransomware attack on Friday shut down a gasoline and diesel pipeline running 5,000 miles along the entire U.S. East Coast, operated by the Colonial Pipeline Company. The vital fuel artery normally transits 100 million gallons per day from Texas all the way to New York. The Biden administration responded by invoking emergency powers to enable truckers to transport more fuel as traders scrambled to import fuel by sea from Europe. Addressing the attack on Monday, Biden initially threw cold water on the claims of Russian involvement, instead blaming transnational criminals. That's a quote. "So far, there's no evidence from our intelligence people that Russia is involved," Biden told reporters. However, he followed that statement by saying that the ransomware used is in Russia, and Russia therefore has some responsibility to deal with this. Of course they do. Of course it's Russia's fault. Not Russia's fault, according to some people, but definitely Russia's fault. Here is the interaction with the press that Biden had. And as you watch this, you know what always irks me about these videos, these pressers that Biden gives, is always Kamala Harris kind of lurking there in the background. It just spooks me for some reason that she's always just kind of lurking back there. I don't know. Maybe it's me. What do you guys think? I don't know, it's just always spooky seeing her there. Anyway.
Infrastructure from a criminal actor, how can you possibly protect it from a state actor?
We can do both, and we will.
Do you think Russia is involved at all implicitly with that attack?
I'm going to have a conference. I'm going to be meeting with President Putin, and so far there is no evidence based on from our intelligence people that Russia is involved, although there is evidence that the actor's ransomware is in Russia. They have some responsibility to deal with this. Thank you.
Decided who will get the AstraZeneca doses?
All right, so there's Biden. Russia's not involved, but Russia is involved. Now remember, we know from Vault 7, the Vault 7 leaks, that the CIA can do all kinds of manipulation into where certain hacks appear to have taken place. They can mess around with the languages, they can mess around with of course, with the locations and the IPs and all that stuff. All that stuff so that they can show that an attack, they can make it look like an attack happened from Russia or China or anywhere in the world when in fact it happened, well, in Langley. But anyway, we know that as a fact from the Vault 7. But here you have Biden once again saying intelligence is telling us it wasn't Russia, but it happened from Russia. Rumors of Russian involvement were stoked by several mainstream media outlets over the weekend after it emerged that DarkSide, a criminal hacking organization believed by CNN's anonymous sources to be based in a Russian-speaking country, that's a direct quote, was responsible for the attack. In a short statement on Monday, the FBI confirmed that the DarkSide ransomware is responsible for the compromise of the Colonial Pipeline networks. Other media outlets took the opportunity to link the hackers to the Russian government, whether they work for the state or not, in the words of one cybersecurity consultant to NBC. So once again, you have CNN anonymous sources. That's a tip-off right there that this is BS. And most likely that anonymous source is someone in the deep state. That's the first tip-off. CNN, once again, going to their anonymous sources. And those anonymous sources are saying that the attack seems to be based in a Russian-speaking country. Quote, a Russian-speaking country. Interesting. Keep in mind, we know from Vault 7 that languages, keyboards used, alphabets, locations, all of that is easily manipulated by the CIA. We know that. But here you have an anonymous source going to CNN and saying, well, it's in a Russian-speaking country. And then, of course, you make the leap by saying anonymous source tells CNN Russian-speaking country. Hence, dark side is from Russia, hence connected to the Putin government. That's how you're going to connect this all the way down. And that's what the mainstream media is doing. Whether they work for the state or not, in the words of one cybersecurity consultant, Russian government is responsible whether this dark side group, supposedly, which is behind this attack, works for the state or not. That's how they connect their assumptions. That's how propaganda is done. Anonymous source to CNN, Russian-speaking country, NBC cybersecurity guy says, well, if it's a Russian-speaking country, then they must be connected. They must be in Russia, and then they must be connected to the government. And then, of course, you have Sleepy Joe coming up with a statement where he says, well, we don't have evidence that Russia was behind the attack, but the ransomware is in Russia. The ransomware is in Russia. So, as Biden says, they have some responsibility to deal with this, end quote. And this story will now get ramped up, and of course, it will be pushed via big tech, via mainstream media, that Russia was behind this attack. I saw Hannity last night, a segment from Hannity. He had Newt Gingrich, and he had who else? The former Texas governor. I forgot his name. I believe Perry. Anyway, he was also Trump's energy guy, energy secretary, Rick Perry. He had Rick Perry on, and Rick Perry, of course, said that the pipeline is a national security attack. Hannity pushed out the fact that Russia was behind it, so Hannity is already playing along as well. So this is left and right. This is MSNBC, CNN, as well as Fox News that are going to work together to now say Russia was behind this attack, i.e. Putin was behind this attack, i.e. Putin attacked American national security assets, energy assets. There you have it, guys. Let me know what you think about this story. What are your thoughts on this story? Look for me, look for Alexander, look for the Duran on Odyssey, the blockchain video platform. Look for us on SuperU, the brand new free speech super video platform. We love it there. And look for the Duran community on Locals as well, which is our own community. Our own community is on Locals, where we can post all kinds of stuff connected to the Duran. And of course, Real News, use that code at checkout and get some Duran merch. 10% off all merch. Take care.